Hey, this is Scott again. So, this video is part of a series of presentations that I'm covering the material in this book. I hope you were able to join me for EG00, where I introduced the intent for the entire series. Please see that 1 minute video. So, let's take a quick look at the schedule. All right, so here we are at EG07. You can see where we've been so far. And then where we're going for the next few videos in the series. So I put together a few slides, and then I realized, one of the things that I should preface this with, I'm not even sure if we put this in the book, but leadership really is not a position. It's not the C-suite. It's not the directorship. It's essentially decision makers. It's executives. An executive, according to Drucker, is anyone that makes decision within an organization. So leadership is about executives that make decisions and take action. And that's in a nutshell what we're addressing as leadership in this book. So job number one for leaders is execution, right? So we talked about two key jobs, creating strategy and then executing the strategy. And of course, there's more to it than those simple terms, but execution is the number one job for leaders, right? And so, average people have great ideas. Legends have great execution. I love that quote. I'm a big quotes person. So execution is the primary role of the leadership team. Many leaders like to think that they are exempt from the details of actually running things, but that's not the case. Um, they think that they can stand in front of the ship, plotting the course and delegating the details to others. And that's a pleasant way to view leadership. You're the strategist. You inspire your people with vision while managers do all the dirty work. So this idea creates many aspirations for leadership naturally. Who would want to have all the fun and glory while keeping their hands clean? But this type of thinking is really a fallacy, one that can do immense damage. And so your AI analytics program will only be successful if the leader's heart, mind, and soul believe in it, they're immersed in it, and they're immersed in the details of implementing it within the company. So, successful leadership. So, leading is really more than thinking big or socializing with investors or other stakeholders. The leader has to be engaged personally and deeply within the business. And successful implementation of data driven programs requires really a comprehensive understanding of the business, a comprehensive understanding of its people, and a comprehensive understanding of the market and understanding the operating environment of the business itself. So only the leaders can really make execution happen through their involvement, in the substance and in the details of the business itself. And so really this whole idea of leadership just being in the ivory tower, just being in the C-suite and not getting involved in every level of the business is a flawed one. Only a leader can ask the tough questions that everybody needs to answer and then manage the process of debating the information and making the right trade-offs. And only the leader who is intimately engaged in the business can really know enough to have the comprehensive view and ask the incisive questions. And again, I was putting this in here and then I ended up putting it in front. And leadership is not a position. So the successful leader, whoops, that was a duplicate, I guess. Let's look at a mistake in leadership. So that Lehman Brothers, no longer around, there was a leader named Dick Folt that really brought the company around. And so, looking at this, there's a great story in the failure. And so, he ran it for many years. And then, late in his tenure, he made some critical mistakes. So, when the financial crisis 2008 2009 was brewing, he missed the significance of what was happening. And so, instead of turning inward and addressing the issues as a hands on leader, he was out on business trips with clients trying to grow the business. In other words, he did not respond to the challenges in the market. He was great at sales, and that's what he was doing. And this was really his Achilles heel. Um, so he was still bullish on the business, trying to grow it, and it just didn't work out. And then, really, he did something even worse. He appointed a successor and delegated running the business to Joe Gregory, and Joe was really not up for the job. And so Dick really didn't understand, and he was not present. And so some people say that he tried to do the right thing, but actually did something much far worse by um, putting the business in the hands of the wrong person. The person didn't have the right set of skills. And so the crux of it is hiring the right people is the most important job that a leader can do. So only the leader can set the tone for analytics dialogue in the organization. Dialogue is the core of culture and the basic unit of work. How people talk to each other absolutely determines how well the program will function. If the dialogue is stilted, politicized, fragmented, or butt covering, is it any of those things? Or alternatively, is the dialogue candid, reality based, raising the right questions, debating them, and finding realistic solutions? If it's the former, as it is in too many organizations, reality will never come to the surface. If it's the latter, the leader has to be on the playing field with his or her management team, practicing it consistently and forcefully. A couple more notes before we leave. So micromanaging is a big mistake. Leaders should not be micromanagers. It diminishes people's self-confidence. It saps their initiatives and stifles their ability to work for themselves. It's a recipe for screwing things up. Micromanagers rarely know much about what needs to be done as the people that they're harassing. The ones that are dealing directly with the company's customers often know what the customers really need. So let's not confuse leaders being involved in operations versus micromanaging the operations. Those are two separate things. A leader needs to know what's happening. A leader needs to be present. And if possible, or if needed, they need to make the tough calls. But that is not micromanaging. That's not making decisions for everyone else in the organization and telling everyone else how the nitty gritty should be done. So the leader who gets results assembles an architecture that's responsible for the results. They put in place a culture and process for executing and promoting people who get things done more quickly, including giving them greater rewards. Their personal involvement in the architecture is to assign the tasks and then follow up. This means making sure that people understand the priorities, which are based on a comprehensive understanding of the business and asking incisive questions. The leader who delivers often does not even have to tell people what to do. They ask questions so that people can figure it out what needs to be done. And that way they're really coaching them. They're passing on their experience. They're educating them in ways to think and in ways that they never thought before. So far from stifling people, this kind of leadership helps them expand their own capabilities for leading. So it's cultivating future. So a leader's interaction and communication needs to mean something, right? So boilerplate communication is worthless. What counts is substance of the communication and the nature of the person that's doing the communicating. That includes their ability to listen as well to talk. Leaders can do this. Leaders that are able to successfully listen and provide substance in the communication. Their influential presence. They connect because they know the realities and they talk about them. They're knowledgeable about the details. They're excited about what they're doing. They're passionate about getting results. And this is not inspiration through exhortation or speech making. These leaders energize everyone by example, and they do so with their presence in front of the organization. So here's, as we go through, some ways to connect with me or look at some of the content that we have available. And I hope to see you soon for the next video.